Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope y'all are doing well. I'm a little under the weather. I've tweaked my neck, apparently, so it's a little painful to swivel my head about, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but hey, we're going to work through this. Another thing I want to say right up top is I've already tried to record this twice, but yeah, I have taken some muscle relaxers, which apparently can make me a little loopy, so oh well. Anyway, this is a TwoSun'a TS115. It's Caleb Fechner design in D2 steel. There's his maker's mark if you're not familiar with it. Yeah, we can get super close on in there. Now, something that I didn't quite expect, just due to going off of the photographs when I was trying to purchase one of these guys, is this is using a carbon fiber laminate on top of G10. This is like one of two, I think, TwoSun's that I'm familiar with, at least that I have, that that do this. Most of them don't. And even when I was trying to purchase it in the pictures, I didn't actually know that this was G10 on top. I thought it was another, or carbon fiber on top. I thought it was a different color of G10. So, there you go. This guy is interesting in quite a few ways. First up, kind of one of a negative, in my opinion, is they've made this really, really compact, which is nice. This is one of the very few, though, that you can get right in there and fondle yourself some blades. So if you put your finger in there, or run it through, or whatnot, yeah, you're gonna slice yourself open. And you can also see there's a little dink or two on the blade there because of that, just from carrying the thing around normally, which is a little unfortunate. It's also another thing that I've seen out of two or three TwoSun's, but not very many. So in general, good, but yeah, a little sad that the blade's so far towards the back of the knife there. They could have probably fixed that a little bit, trying to extend the G10 backspacer out there or whatnot, but I suppose that would get in the way of the holes of the fluting that's been cut into it. So, oh well, just something to keep in mind. You might not like that, and it might be a deal breaker for you. It might not. Who knows? That's up to you. So yeah, this guy's got carbon fiber laminate on top of kind of olive drab G10, and it has these patterns on here, which it's mimicked on both sides. It is a particular mathematical function, and hell if I actually know what it is, but it was deliberately done. It's not a just some random scribbles kind of thing going on there. And because they're actually basically carved down into it, going down to the G10, it does actually offer some decent grip on it, even though it is just that polished carbon fiber laminate. So you do have pretty darn good grip and purchase on this thing, even though the handle scales can be quite shiny and slippery on their own. Let's see. Next up, I want to talk about the D10 on this thing. It's fairly strong, but because of that, it's next to impossible to fail. Like even me using the whole pad, trying my best to fail that, it still just comes out. And that's a great detent tuned for a flipper tab. If this had any other kind of deployment method along with it, like if this cutout hole in the blade was more accessible, or it had a thumb stud, this would be way too hard. But because this is the only deployment method, it's perfectly fine. It does a dang good job. I guess, yep, we'll talk about the blade next. I had mentioned that it's D2 steel. It does have this kind of hole here, and then a fuller that kind of goes all the way out there. The back of this knife, up through where the fuller starts, is crowned. So yeah, super nice and comfortable on your hand. Doesn't have any jimping going on there, but crowned is it feels nice. It does have yeah, basically like a good 2/3 of it is straight. And then we have a decent amount of belly on this guy. And the tip, of course, taking a bit of a cue from the Benchmade 940 and kind of has that reinforced rather than just coming down to a very, very delicate tip. So this thing can do a pretty good job of poking into things and starting your cut basically wherever you want in your material. Does a pretty good job of that with that notch down there, as well as it not having a wide or tall profile going on there. So that works out all right, if that's kind of the knife that you're looking for. For something super nice and thin, I appreciate that. But generally, my EDCs tend to have a little bit thicker blades. But yeah. How about if I do some comparisons here? Let's see. Let's do some Spydercos to start with. There's the Paramilitary 2. And there's the Endura 4. So there you go. You can see this guy has a lot of similarities as far as blade length and handle length to the PM2. So that'll probably give you a good idea of those length dimensions at least. Let's see, next up, which it reminds me quite a bit of, is the Benchmade 940, which is shorter. Let's go for my super colorful Boker Kalashnikov 74, little automatic guy. And yeah, while the blade is certainly taller, it's shorter in all dimensions there. So there's that. Let's see. There's the Mac Daddy Spyderco Manix 2 XL. And yeah, there's the Rat number 1. So yeah, there's some comparisons. I have another couple of them, but I do think they're a little bit more specialized for comparison sakes that I don't necessarily think everybody under the sun would be super familiar with, like there's the Spyderco Native Chief, and possibly the K-Bar Folding Hunter there. I'm still kind of up in the air whether or not I should continue using these for comparison or size comparison, but you know, enough people have them, so if it helps, then great. If not, oh well, then I've wasted everyone's time, and I'm a giant failure. So, sorry about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and kind of take a look on the inside of this guy here. I will remove the clip. And something that I should mention about this is because it's using the carbon fiber laminate there, they didn't actually mill a pocket out for this pocket clip to sit in. This is using their deep carry pocket clip, which they usually use on a lot more of their knives that aren't using bespoke milled titanium pocket clips. So yeah, I kind of would prefer to have a little pocket in there, but it at least is attached with more than one screw. So that certainly keeps me happy for that. And well, this guy in particular, I kind of put him back together a little bit backwards, but that's fine, as you'll see in a minute here. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop this off first. Yep, you can see the milling going on here in the G10 and the laminate and everything like that. Yep, just super flat on the other side. But those flutings also go directly through the actual liners here. And these liners, at least this one, heavily skeletonized to keep the weight down, which is great. You can see this little arch guy right here, which tells you that we have a blade pin that's internal to the blade. But this one avoids carving out the top part of a liner. So, ingress in there, at least from the front of the blade, not nearly as bad as some of the others are. So that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and take the blade off of here. And yeah, I'll just move on over to this side. You can see we have their ceramic bearings in there with very small diameter for the washers on there. They usually use these for some smaller knives in general. I do have another couple of them that do use these smaller styles. And the action is still fine on them. No problems there, but they are a bit different because we have a lot more compact sort of stuff going on there. Let's see, we got one little tiny pocket over on that side to skeletonize. I'm glad to see they actually did that. It probably doesn't help out a whole lot, but hey, they were already doing milling on this side with the fluting there. And then you got yourself a G10 backspacer here. This is held in with the Chicago screw going on there, as well as one pin. That keeps it fairly sturdy. It does block a couple of the flutings there in the back. Doesn't necessarily matter to me, but that's what happens. So yeah, that's basically everything I got to say about the inside. So I can slap this guy back together here. Oops. Come on, buddy. There's probably a better camera angle for me to try to put some screw knife things back together with. I just haven't quite found it yet. But, I'll keep looking. Kind of change things up, make things better. But, yeah, the pocket clip on this is actually a little interesting to try to get back in there, as sometimes you can see it has a little bit of a difficulty actually gripping onto the liner on the inside that it's actually screwing into. You do need to apply some pressure with that bottom screw. The top one's fine, but yeah. Something that don't really have that much of a problem with most of the other knives that use that deep carry clip, but something to make a note of. There you go. Yeah, just for me kind of throwing them back together and everything like that. The alignment's maybe a little bit off, but perfectly fine for me to just slap it back together for the video. So, yeah, I was talking about the action. The action's super great on this thing. I also like to use my middle finger to flick them out from time to time. Yeah, just play around with them. But, yeah, so we have not a whole lot of clearance here for the liner. However, it is slightly contoured there, and it is kind of out there. It's absolutely no problem at all for me to get my giant meat pads in there to close the guy up. So, yeah, that's perfectly fine and all that sort of good stuff. So this is about where I've run out of some things to... Oh, you know what? I perfectly lied to you. I do have some measurements for this guy here. Let's see. So we got a 3.6 inch blade, which, on me kind of looks like so. That's kind of right around where my favorite sizes are. Is anywhere between 3.5 and 4.5 inch for blade length. So this guy certainly hits that. It's got a blade choil on there. Super nice. Something that, some companies should maybe think about at some point. All right, what else do we got here? Okay, blade stock thickness. This is 3.3 millimeters, which, still fairly robust, but a little bit thinner than you usually find on TwoSun's. A lot of their full-size knives, and heck, some of their smaller ones and slip joints and everything like that are, 3.5 to 3.8, heck, even almost 4 millimeters going on. So this guy's a little bit thinner than that. Because it kind of has this grind up to the fuller here. It's not technically a full flat grind, but close enough. I wouldn't really necessarily call that a saber grind. But you do have a nice flat area above that fuller for a clamp to actually grab onto, in case you actually want to sharpen it with a clamp-based system, such as this little guy right here. Or the KME, or heck, I guess even the Lansky system, even though I really don't like the clamp on that. But yeah, all of that stuff works super great for that. Next up, we got the weight on this thing. Yeah, it's like 3.29 ounces. And that's about 93 grams. So, that's not too bad. It's certainly over that ounce and inch thing. Not by a huge margin, by about, 0.3 of an ounce, but certainly under that ounce and inch thing that some people strive for. And as far as the thickness of the handle here, we got 0.52, so it almost made it to just a half inch. And heck, if you probably didn't have the carbon fiber laminate on here, it would be under that, probably like 0.49, 0.48, somewhere around there. So yeah, relatively slim and thin. Unfortunately, you can reach the blade on that side. You have to try. I feel like I might be harping on that a little bit more. Like, it's not like it's pointing up and like, oh no, oops. You actually have to make a conscious effort there. But it does leave the blade a little bit more exposed if you have it in a pocket with, some jingling keys or whatnot. They can actually hit that blade and kind of nick it up a little bit, which is just kind of an unfortunate flaw. Some people will probably think that that's a deal breaker. I certainly don't blame you for that whatsoever, if that's kind of your prerogative. I do like the knife design overall in general with it, though, and it's something that I'm perfectly happy with. It doesn't bother me all that much. The handle shape on this thing, very, very neutral. You have a nice swell in the middle here, and then it kind of curves in just a little bit for you to grab your pinky on there. Also, it kind of right there where the carbon fiber laminate ends, it also has kind of a little nice place for your pinky to hook in there. So it really locks in really, really nice. And despite the small bearing housings or whatnot for it, it's actually a very, very robust knife. You got a decent lockup on the thing. A little bit less than you probably see on some others, but yeah, probably 35 or 40. Yeah, 35%. That's mostly what I'd say. Which, perfectly fine with that. Absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. No blade play or blade rock or any of that sort of stuff. No blade lock or blade stick. So yeah, it's an interesting knife for sure. One of the few that they use the carbon fiber laminate on, which it dances around with the light, I guess. But that's basically all it does. It doesn't really offer up any of the other benefits that carbon fiber can do for a knife. Regardless, though, It's still nice and light, under that ounce and inch mark. So, yeah. That's basically everything I got to say about this guy. Again, just here at the end of the video, this is the TS115 from Caleb Fechner. So, alright, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe.